Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ashland Leather Workshop. It's good to see you today. Hopefully, you can hear me and see me. I'm going to look at some wallets today, some key cases. I'm looking at my the screen over here. It looks like there's a really big English tan XL valet tray too to check out. I see you in the chat there. What's up, Matt? It's good to see you again. Glad you could make it to the live stream. D is here. Great to see you as always, and Mr. Chop Top. Good to see you too. I saw you chatting about the passport holder, the new one. This was the first prototype sample that we approved for production, but we have not made these for production yet. We did have our goal to try to do that for this week, but it's not looking like it's going to happen until at least next week at this point. What's up, my fellow Ash Hat BFET? Good to see you, buddy. All right, what do you say we flip it around and look at some stuff that has been ordered over the last 24 hours? There's a couple belts, little key fobs, key accessories, and a ton of wallets. And there's a bunch of different wallets. I think it would be a good chance for me to try to explain who I think each wallet would be best for. So which wallet's right for you? And I'll start off by saying, every time somebody calls me, I try to push them into a Fat Herby. So I'm a Fat Herby evangelist. But let me spin this over. And not tie myself up. Great. We did it. All right, before we get to the wallets, let's get these little guys out the way. We got a vault key holder here. Still need to put some hardware in the sides. We put little screw posts on the left and right sides, and those have little caps that can unscrew, and you hang your keys off of there. So I like to put 3 keys on each side. In fact, if you use like 1 key, it's actually a little bit too loose. So you almost have to have like at least 2 keys on each side. And this one is in the English tan Dublin. We've got a huge piece of English tan Dublin. Let's just get right to it. Check out this massive piece of leather. This is our XL valet tray. So it's a little bit more rectangular. What we do is put little snap sets into the corners and fold up the corners like that, and it sits on the table. I've been using this larger size at home to hold like all my wife's keys and my keys and our wallets and stuff. But at work, I use the smaller one on my desk. I think this is just a little bit too large for a desk, but beautiful leather. We've got a key fob. This is our new key fob. It's a single layer. This one is in the blue shell cordovan. And we do pick a little bit thicker leathers, but it is thinner than what we were doing for the non-cordovan key fobs. So we do some key fobs out of the belt weight leathers, which are roughly twice the thickness of these. And then we have matching hardware on this. It's an antique copper rivet with an antique copper split key ring is the word I'm looking for. We got a couple one-shots to compare today. And this is something I'm surprised that we even had it. This is brown nut Dublin, not a leather and color that we stock very often. But there was a moment where we bought some of these sides because they were so nice. So we have a brown nut Dublin one shot going out today, as well as a color number 8 shell cordovan one shot. This is a good chance to compare the two different leathers, and they're not the same color, but kind of similar colors. You can see the Dublin has much more of a pull-up effect on it. When you look down the spine here, that lighter color. And the reason that is happening is we're displacing the wax that has been finished onto the grain of the leather. So you can see as I run my finger underneath it, I'm revealing a little bit of the more light undertones that are sort of hidden underneath all that wax. So you get what we call a burst effect. Some people call this a pull-up. It doesn't really matter. There's a sort of tonal effect where you have a lighter undertone and a darker surface. The shell cordovan on the right here is color number 8 shell cordovan. So in theory, it should have a little bit more oxblood burgundy color range to it when compared to the brown nut Dublin, which is more of like a straightforward, like a mocha brown. There's a little bit more red in the color 8 shell cordovan. And then, of course, the character of the cordovan leather, very, very flat and smooth and very, very bright and shiny. There is a mild pull-up on cordovan because of all the waxes and oils that are tanned inside of the leather in a process called hot stuffing. So you do get a little bit of pull-up, and there's a really nice depth of color, but it's not as dramatic as something like the burst of the wax layer on the surface of Dublin, like on the right here. So very different leathers, and comparing them side by side, you can really see the difference in grain character. Technically, the cordovan has no grain at all, so it's not fair to compare, but the grain character on the Dublin is very, very intense, and the character of the shell is very, very flat and smooth. So those one shots are really good for minimalists, people that like to only carry a few cards and probably want to carry it in the front pocket. This Fat Herby here is almost the opposite of that. And this is the wallet style that I prefer. I like this design for several reasons. Personally, I wear my wallet in my back pocket, and I find this to be the easiest and thinnest back pocket wallet around. Easiest to use, I should say. And that's because of the unique card layout on the inside and then the somewhat unique bill slot on the exterior. It's larger, and because the whole wallet is larger, it's very, very easy to open up that bill slot like this. You can almost do it with one hand. In fact, you can do it with one hand, and it makes cash really easy to get in and out of. You can slip a passport in here in a pinch. I don't necessarily recommend this as a full-time passport holder because it does stick out the top like 1 or 2 millimeters, depending on how far you can jam it in there. But the real great thing is the interior with the card holders here. Because all these 4 card slots are not stacked on top of each other, you can put multiple cards in each slot and still have a wallet that lays flatter than most. And then on color HL cordovan here, it's a really huge context to see a nice leather, really large pattern piece, and color number HL cordovan is a classic for a reason. We've been doing these hand stained edges. It's the same stain that the tannery uses on the shell side. We've been applying that to the edges and then adding a little bit of wax and doing a lot of handwork to get this really nice clean look. So we've got a Fat Herby color HL cordovan going out, and this is a more traditional version of a wallet. The Fat Herby is very much a modern, sort of not familiar style, where the Johnny the Fox here is a very familiar style. So this is what we call a traditional bifold, where you have a bill slot sort of tucked away on the inside. You can see it's a little bit of a notch down, so we can hide our cash behind this bill slot. And on the interior, we have 3 card slots on the left, 3 on the right, and then there are hidden card slots here. So this is a very familiar wallet style. It's a very classic look. Somebody that's more of a traditional style can wear this. You can put it in the front or back pocket. I should have mentioned many people successfully wear the Fat Herby here, even though it is larger. They can successfully wear that in their front pocket too. So it almost doesn't matter. It's more of your personal taste. My mind, Fat Herby is a back pocket wallet. Same with Johnny the Fox. You can also put this one in your front pocket. I think people that have great success with this wallet don't carry a ton of stuff, especially in the shell cordovan. Because these card holders are stacked on top of each other, if you put multiple cards in each, now let me show you my Herby, what I'm talking about here. I like to stack my cards up on top of each other like that. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards there. If you were to do that same idea on the Johnny the Fox here, this would get very thick very quickly, and it would be like sitting on a softball. So it's not super, super thin to begin with, especially in the cordovan. But this is a great wallet style if you want like a very traditional classic look. A lot of people think this is more of like a dressy type of wallet. And here's the opposite. This is one of our best sellers. Black Dublin on the exterior of this wallet and teal on the interior. And this is horsehide latigo on the interior. There's something special about the combination of these 2 colors, which puts it distinctly into a more casual aesthetic, a little bit more styled, you could say, where the 100% color HL is very, very classic, very clean, very simple. This one is a little bit more of an aggressive style just because of the combination of 2 colors. And also the horsehide interiors here that are not cordovan are just a little bit thinner than the shell. So I find those to be more pleasing to wear personally. I like a little bit of a thinner wallet. A lot of people like more of a thicker wallet. We got another Fat Herby here, natural shell cordovan. This one's really great for patina. So if you want a wallet that's going to wear and change with your style and develop more and more character and just get more beautiful each time you wear it, this is the color to pick. Natural shell cordovan. It's a really beautiful leather. It's a really interesting color shift, I call it. As I spin this leather around, you'll notice that the color at some angles becomes a little bit dark. And then if I flip that around, you'll see it's a little bit lighter at this direction. Very, very interesting. If you want to see what this leather looks like after 1,000 days of wear, there's an image on our homepage of our website, ashlandleather.com, that compares day 1 versus day 1,000. Here's an English tan Dublin fat Herby also. By the way, everything we're looking at here, oh, and you just heard a Slack message. Everything we're looking at here is being prepared to ship out today. So we got the English tan Dublin fat Herby, very great grain character on the Dublin, as you can see. As I shift it through the light here. It's a really nice natural character on the Dublin, and then you can see a little bit of this color burst down the spine there. Let's hear Slack some more. Here's a look at the interior. Another little bit more classic look. I think this is more of a sort of like heritage vibe as opposed to like the black and teal. Here's something new. The royal blue cypress on our Capone money clip. We also envision more of a front pocket wear for this wallet style, the Capone. So we have 2 card slots on the outside, which are really easy to use and great to access. In fact, it's like a joy to get cards in and out of there. Very, very easy. In the same way that the Herby is very easy to use. These interior ones are a little harder to get at, especially when you have cash in there. So you have to sort of extend the wallet apart like that to be able to easily access the card holders in here. So I put my lesser used cards in there and more frequently used on the outside. And then this spring bar money clip can hold 0 bills, 1 bill, I don't know, like 30 bills inside of there. You can hold a lot of stuff in here, which is really great. And then the blue cypress, that new color, I think it's unique. So somebody that's a little bit more individualistic might like that style. We've got the Bugs Moraine here, a little bit more minimalist style. There's no bill slot on here. And this one has vertical card slots on the inside. So you can see 1, 2 on the left, 1, 2 on the right, and then there's hidden card slots under here. You can put cash, US dollars, folded in half underneath there. And for the vertical card slots, I don't suggest using more than 1 or 2 cards in these. I find it a little bit cumbersome to use like 3 cards in there. It's a little tough to get things in and out of. And then the English tan Dublin is just a great look. We also have English tan Dublin on the small zip here. So somebody that wants to throw their wallet in a bag, this is a great style for that. So on the inside of this one, we have a ton of card slots. Let me try to show you. There's 2 on the left here, 2 on the right there, and then these larger gusseted sections that expand. That's actually where I put my most used cards here. You can put a ton of stuff in there. You can put cash in there. And then the center section here, this actually, when you close it, you'll notice there's no closure in this center section. We do envision people using this for coins or for air tags, but we designed it in such a way where you don't have to fuss with a clasp or another zipper there. When this closes, that zipper here that already exists is close enough to that top where we've tested it with the smallest coins we had. The coins will not fall out of there. So they will stay inside of this slot. And it's just very, very easy to use. Got a little bit of hair going there. So English tan Dublin, small zip wallet. These are great for people that throw it in bags. I wore mine in my pocket, which is also great too. But we more have the idea of people that just want to throw it in there and forget about it and not want to have all their cards and stuff falling all over the place. Black Dublin Capone money clip. We went over the Capone already, but check out the Dublin on here. I think there's only 1 or 2 of these left. I was surprised that we even had it. I think this is a color on the style that we weren't planning to stock anymore, but really great grain character on the Black Dublin. Have another piece of Black Dublin here, the black and teal Johnny the Fox. You can see this grain character is very different than this one. It's the same leather, but that texture is random and we can't order it that way. Each time we get a piece of Dublin, it's like a little bit different. So sometimes it's as flat as this, and sometimes it's super, super textured. So speaking of black and teal, this is actually an irregular wallet here with black shell cordovan this time on the outside as opposed to the Dublin. And look at the character difference. The shell cordovan, very, very flat and smooth. The Dublin, much more textured. And this one's irregular because there are some scratches and scuffs on the outside that we weren't able to sort of clean up. This one's fun. This was a private select that we did with a teal interior, just sort of play off the same idea as our black and teal foxes. So speaking of foxes, another Johnny the Fox here. This is our most popular wallet style. I find it to have just a very, very clean and pleasant look. I like that it matches inside and out. And then English tan Dublin is just a really beautiful orangey tan shade. This also tends to age and develop nicely over time. And because we're using the non-shell interior here, this is just a little bit more pleasant of a thickness for me. I think this is about perfect, whereas the shell one sometimes just get a little tiny bit too thick, but I know a lot of people want full shell wallets, so we make and sell a lot of those too. Here's another minimalist style. We looked at a vertical card slot Bugsman, but this is our traditional card slot Bugsman. So if you're stacking like 3 or 4 cards or more, I suggest this style because it is much easier to get cards inside and out of these slots. And then the larger 2 slots underneath, the one on the left here and then the one on the right here, you can fit US dollars folded in half. Now take a look at this. This is one of my favorite things. We are working on this. So this is not yet complete, and you'll see the edges are that natural shade. So we still need to finish the edges on this, and it will look like this. We'll add that little hand staining, a little bit of waxing and burnishing, so the edges will become bright, shiny, and then match the color of the black shell here. It's a really clean look, especially in the Bugsman. Then we've got 2 belts to wrap it up. I find our belts to be very, very comfortable, and we use an unlined, extra thick steer hide for our belts. So something like this English tan Dublin, we compare it to the thickness of a Johnny the Fox. Look, the single thickness of leather is as thick as the entire one side of this wallet, roughly. So we're using extra thick leather from Horween in the English tan tannage, and it's tough to get. It's really beautiful to see it, and not every hide is thick enough to be able to produce leather that makes an unlined belt. So it's really special to see it. Very, very comfortable using an unlined belt. There's nothing to sort of separate and delaminate, nor is there anything to dig into your body. So sometimes a stitching that comes through the back can rub against you and sort of poke at you. You don't have to deal with that on these. And then because this is a veg tan leather, it will mold and conform to your body, which is very, very pleasant. I find these to be very comfortable, and they're designed with people that wear jeans in mind. It's not necessarily a dress belt. I also have a black Chrome Excel belt going out today. You'll notice the backside of this leather is a natural color. So a lot of people are trying to match their belts to their footwear. So there's a lot of black Chrome Excel footwear out there, and that's exactly what this is. We got that extra thick belt weight Chrome Excel, which again is we had to wait a long time to get this stuff. And it's very, very nice. You can see the grain character on the Chrome Excel is polished in. So there is a little bit of grain texture to it, but it's much more flat because they've sort of polished down all the waxes and oils into that grain, which gives you that very flat and smooth character. So a lot of people are trying to match their boots or shoes to their belts. This is great for that. Black Chrome Excel is a very popular Chrome Excel color. And then because of that natural color underneath, if you were to scratch this grain, it does age in a very interesting way where we start to pull off this finish on top and you show a little bit of the natural color underneath. So it creates an interesting 2-tone effect, and that's perfect. We finished it off with another Slack message. I got to turn that off. Maybe you're not even hearing it. I'm hearing it. Let's see if I can mute it. Oh, great. Oh man, so many people chatting me up today. Great to see you guys here. Thanks for listening to my sales pitch. I just love looking at the leather and talking about the stuff. But yeah, we don't have this passport holder ready just yet. This is actually a little bit larger than our normal fat Herby. We're designing this with the same aesthetics as the Herby, but to more appropriately accommodate a passport holder. So you can see this passport can slide in and out of that slot very, very easily on one side of the passport. So a little bit different. This is not exactly what you're going to see, hopefully in a week or two. We are working on that, trying to have like a little passport event in the same way that we did the inverted event. Like have sort of like a collection of stuff. But again, like none of that has even been started on yet. We're a little bit behind schedule. All right, I'm backing up to the top of the chat here. Good to see you guys here again. Hi, Jaron. Mojo says, is it possible to have the Tony the Ant in vertical card slots on the inside? Yeah, we can do that, but that's made to order, Mo. So if you want something, just send a message to info@ashlandleather.com, and we'd have to set you up made to order there. Just tell them what color you want or what leather you want. You should reach my brother Matt there. Hopefully you didn't hear that Slack message just go through. I muted it, but I'm still hearing it. All right. Hey, Glad you're loving your current Ashland products. That's awesome. That's what it's all about. I struggle because I have a choice to wear so many different things, but I really like the experience of being able to wear it and see how things change. So I tend to not change my stuff very much. Like I've been wearing this Apple Watch band since we did the Work Shoe Butt event. I don't even know when that was, a year ago. And I've been wearing my Royal Blue Cypress since December. So it's like 3 or 4 months now. But like I said, I have my choice of anything. I just tend to want to wear stuff hard and see what it does. Yeah, we did put some vertical card slots Tonys in an event, a private stock event, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we're trying to do that again. There's a weird issue with that, where how the stitching lines up with all the pattern pieces, but we're trying to figure it out. I think, in fact, we have figured it out. Matt says, I like the fat Herby, but still consider myself minimalist. 1 card per slot. Nice. Okay. I mean, it works for that too. The only issue is if you put like 4 cards in and go down to 1, the card holders are stretched out a little bit because the leather wants to conform and mold to everything you put in it. So if you go from 4 to 1, you might have an issue with some loose card slots. PRP2, good to see you, says, I've been using a Herby for about 2 months now, but we'll be trying the machine gun jack once it arrives. Yeah, we shipped those yesterday. Yeah, interesting you said that about cash on machine gun jack. You have to fold it into thirds to fit it in there. So we didn't really design machine gun jack with cash in mind. But it's a great wallet. It's like very simple and easy to use. I like that style. But when we released it, it didn't seem to be a huge hit, so we sort of shied away from it. But it's fun that's why we like the private stock. We can sort of bring stuff back every now and then. Right. Wouldn't stacking multiple cards per slot in the Johnny the Fox stretch out the slots? And is that not a one-way street? Oh, Matt, you said exactly what you just said. Yeah. It's true for every wallet style and every wallet, whether it's mine or not. Hi, Doug. Good morning. Happy Leather Tuesday. Oh, I should have called the title of the video of that. Oh, PRP2 says the Capone Fox settle on a new name yet? Haven't yet. I got to. We've been thinking about, I was talking to Skip Horween yesterday about names. He's like, you should think about old, like, Chicago boxing. I was like, that's it. So we might do some like cool boxing names for wallets. We have not come up with a new name yet. It's a brilliant pattern for a Johnny the Fox traditional bifold, but the exterior and horizontal. Yeah, it's a good design. So we have that on our calendar too. That I don't know why I was looking for it. There's like a huge wall blocking me here. There is a calendar over there where we're trying to launch the Capone Fox too. These days, many of my cards are no longer physical, but I live in my iPhone. It allows me to carry fewer cards. That's great, man. I think that's awesome. You're going to put me out of business, Apple. It goes for less cash as well. So finding a true and appealing use case for such great leather wallets is shifting towards passports, driver's license, etc. Yeah, true. Price, your dog chewed up your cobalt blue Dublin Fox. Oh no. Looks like it's time to get a new one. Price, if you like the blue, we've got the blue Cypress foxes are turning out great. I don't know if we have any available right now, but we can make one, and we are making more of those. So if you like blue, that's a good choice. And I'm sorry about your wallet. You must be so mad at the dog. It's not his fault. It just smells so good. Matt says, regarding the belts, have you considered using flat laying screws instead of stitching? Would allow for end user size adjustment. Oh, cool. You weren't hearing Slack. Are you sure you could adjust your size with the Chicago screw? Because I don't know how you'd be able to change the size. But yes, we've made buckles fixed into a belt with screws instead of stitching. And we've done that. We can do that. I think it's a little cheaper looking. It's also a lot easier for us to make instead of stitching. We actually stitch it 4 times, even though you only see 2 rows. We stitch it twice for extra strength. There's something about I don't think it's like crappy looking to see rivets. I just think it's like a little less awesome than how the stitching ones look. But we've done it and we can do it. Alex says, I bought some sneakers from Thursday Boot and didn't know they use Horween for some. I think they only use Horween for natural Chrome Excel. And I'm not sure. I think they might actually charge more for it, or they ought to, because I'm sure it's way more expensive. Mr. Chop Shop loves the Machine Gun Jack. Awesome. I like it too. We just have so many things that sometimes I feel like if I go to a restaurant and the menu is like 40 pages long, I never know what to pick. So I think there's some value for us, like sort of tightening things up and offering less stuff, and then putting certain things up for private stock. And then in addition, allowing people to order made to order. I think that helps. Still trying to figure out a way here, even after, what is it going to be, 12 years of being in business. Just still haven't figured it out. Hen Dog says, I got my 2 key fobs in shell color number 8 and natural. Really surprised how dark the color 8 is compared to color 8 Chrome Excel. Yeah, shell cordovan. Okay, if you look behind me, there's some belts on the wall, and on the far left of the screen, that's actually color 8 Chrome Excel. I can compare that for you. The color 8 Chrome Excel is much more cherry and red, where the color 8 shell cordovan is much darker and more brown. And the reason that is because they're totally different leather tannages. So the waxes and oils that are inside of those skins, you can do everything exactly the same. But even like the hide type is going to give you different colors and different characters. So it's not as simple of a translation from leather to leather, even though you're going to call it the same color. They could easily do the same color by heavily pigmenting the leather. But you probably don't want that. You don't want it to look like paint. You want it to look natural. So for that reason, you will see some variants from leather to leather. So from Chrome Excel to shell cordovan in that example. But even within the skin itself, you're going to see some variants. And the shell cordovan is totally different than the Grant Stone Chrome Excel. So I'm not surprised that those don't match, but they should be like reminiscent. It should be in the same family, like a burgundy color. Hopefully that helps. Emerson says, good morning, Phil. Just got my natural shell bugs. It smells fantastic. Awesome, Emerson. Thank you so much, man. And sorry, back to Hen Dog. If you wanted a key fob to match your Grant Stone shoes, we actually make the color 8 Chrome Excel key fobs, by the way. So if you hate your shell cordovan one, just send it back and we can refund it and then send you a Chrome Excel one. I should have said that at the top. Alex says, also sad that you missed the last shell cordovan drop. Wanted the blue one. Oh, those blue. The inverted blue pieces were so nice. And you were talking about the the lighters. Yeah. There were some really special pieces of inverted blue shell, and I think a lot of the credit should go to the tannery, but also the people that cut the leather in our shop. I think a lot of it was Poncho and Matt here in our shop that had like really good vision for how these things would look once the leather had been cut. So it's not as simple as just like clicking everything out. You kind of have to think about what you're doing when it comes to something like inverted shells and marbled shells and envisioning how that's going to look as a full piece. And sometimes it's hard to do. It takes a little bit of a creative mind. And there were some really, really nice pieces in there. Really great stuff. I think we actually have more inverted blue and other inverted colors. So if there's something you wanted that you couldn't grab, we can have one made to order for you. And again, just send my brother Matt an email. It's info@ashlandleather.com. The problem with doing made to order on inverted is you're kind of have to trust us. You can say like, I like the look of this and that, but no two pieces are going to be the same. So we can't even show you what it's going to look like until we send it. So there's a slight risk there. Chicago boxers would be a good source of names. I agree. iPhones don't patina. Good call, Emerson. PRP2 says, was wondering what's the larger sizing of the 3-shot. Someone had said they used to be more Frank size. No, they've never changed. The 2-shots and the 3-shots have always been a different size than the Frank. They're a little bit wider. And less tall, actually. Good to chat with you too, Matt. It's a pleasure. And we mentioned you in the podcast. That was fun. Alex Valdez says they use flesh side. They use the flesh side colored. You might be talking about chrome cell and shell. Yes, this may be names after buildings in Chicago, like the Rookery. Been there. I had my buddy got married at the Rookery. Reliance. Not sure how far you go with, but there's we have amazing. That's a really good call. Architecture. We could just name it after like hot dogs and pizza too. That's a good idea. Inverted drop was awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks so much for being here, guys. I got a lot to do. But this is, again, my best part of my day. I love doing this. I'm going to give you a sneak preview. Let me flip over the camera again. So the people that stuck around, you're going to get an extra treat. I'm going to put up a deal today. Let me go back over there. Okay. Here's your special treat. I have a stack of Giant the Foxes where the color is slightly off spec. They're a little bit darker. So I'm going to be putting these up at a nice discount today. The English Tan Double and Giant the Fox. It's beautiful, but you'll notice that the color is a little bit darker than our normal spec. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting them up as a deal. And you can see how many we have. We got a bunch of them that were off spec. And I just don't have it. I don't have it in my heart to put these up as normal. Like if the image looks like this and you get that, you might be kind of bummed out. So they're a little bit darker, and I need to take some photos, probably do a little video on that, and then put those up hopefully later today. So there's your sneak preview. Thanks for staying to the end. Is that what you're supposed to do on YouTube? Is like, wait for the end and then smash like and all that crap. There's your fun sneak preview for the day. Those are really nice. It's just they're like a tiny, tiny bit too dark. They're so close. It's like, but I thought it would be a nice chance to like give a little discount to people too, because it's stuff like we sell wallets that are super expensive, and that is amazing because it's really nice. But also I realize it sort of excludes a lot of people from being able to participate. And I think about that a lot. Like I want people to be able to experience this stuff. So this would be a good chance for that. All right. You got a podcast idea for me? Oh, I love it. Rancourt. We should have Mike Rancourt on. Sorry, I didn't read your thing. I just saw Rancourt & Co. have made boots and shoes for the Olympics. Could be an interesting conversation. Yeah, the owner is Mike Rancourt. Yeah. And I think Kyle is his son. So yeah, we could maybe have both of them on. I believe Alan Edmonds also has made boots for the Olympics, and it would be cool to talk to them too. I would love to do that. Great idea. Hey, check out the Full Grain podcast. I could use some subscribers over there because I've been thinking about doing live streams for Full Grain podcast, but like there's not a whole lot of people that would watch it, and it'd be more fun to participate like we do here. So if you're not subscribed over on Full Grain Podcast, go check it out. I'd really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you guys. I hope you have a really great day. Glad you stuck around for the sneak peek preview. There's no more sneak peeks. That's it. I'll see you again tomorrow. I'm off. I got some appointments and errands and stuff. I won't be in the shop until late. So we won't have the next stream here until Thursday, I think. All right. See you guys later.